Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Assaba in Mauritania. Now, this is a tablet only episode, not because my usual map is terrible, it's actually kind of nice. But, okay, basically, I really don't have much for history. So if I pulled out the map, we'd be there for like 3 minutes tops. So there's really no point. And we can see a lot more stuff on the tablet anyway. So we may as well just start with the tablet. If you don't know where Mauritania is located, it is in Western Africa. And as you can see, the Sahara Desert slices through Mauritania quite brutally. I just clicked on Mali. We don't want that. Not today, at least. It slices through Mauritania. And here in Assaba, you can see that the Sahara Desert dominates this whole northern portion. It is sandy, sand. As far as the eye can see. It is actually a problem. It's called desertification. This sand has been growing and growing farther and farther south in Mauritania, because we're in kind of the more southerly portion of the country. You can see it borders Burkina Faso down here, where you can just drastically see the whole landscape change right just south of this region. So the desert is expanding and is taking up very valuable land here, and it's a problem that people are trying to rectify. Usually planting trees helps slow it down, but this isn't really a very tree-friendly place, is it? Not really. We can see the Eye of the Sahara up here. Probably my favorite area of the Sahara Desert. That's the coolest thing ever, but we're not talking about it. It's just to the north of our area. The largest town is Kifa. This is the capital city, which there's not much to show you here in Kifa. I'll show you the little slideshow. It is not a lot, but it's what this area has most going on. Lots of little goat friends here. This region is primarily inhabited by Berber people, which is a semi-nomadic peoples of northern Africa, and they are big, like herders, cattle. They're pastoralists. They'd, bring their herds with them across the landscape so that they could eat. And, they had trading centers, which I assume Kifa started off as. I don't really see anything about its old history. But it really started to blossom just after World War II, because this area was controlled by the French, and they were kind of busy during World War II. After World War II, they were still busy, but for other reasons. The French decided to turn this into a date palm plantation town, which didn't work out. It failed, which, as you can imagine, it is in the desert. But the French really wanted the nomadic peoples to settle down in an area, probably because it's more easy to control them that way. But their reason was, we're gonna set you up with farms, and you're gonna grow dates, you're gonna create palm oil, it's gonna be great. And the whole thing flopped, and France pulled out not long after. There is a huge hospital here in Kifa. You can see this was actually built by the Chinese. And usually when China decides to do a big development project somewhere, it's usually quid pro quo. I'm not quite sure what this is, though. I think it's just them being good Samaritans and helping out a region that needs a large, fancy hospital, which is very nice of them. Wouldn't say no to that. I also read that there's some Japanese hospitals too, So maybe it's just a gesture of goodwill. Doesn't always have to be quid pro quo. Kifa, however, is most known for one thing, and that is Kifa beads. The number one thing I found when Googling this part of the world is the Kifa beads. I'm going to show you what they looked like. This is the Wikipedia for them because this has the best examples, I think. It'll show you all the different shapes. I think this one is my favorite because you gotta imagine this bead is like this big, right? It's tiny. This is super zoomed in and it's so detailed and the colors are so vivid. There's a round shape too, which I really like the patterns on there. There's this like tube-shaped cylinder, I guess it's called. Also absolutely stunning, gorgeous. And then some diamond-shaped ones. So I read some conflicting dates about when Kifa beads began being made. I read the 9th century, I read the 14th century, so sometime during then, the women of the region started crafting these gorgeous, gorgeous beads. But the art of it has died out. For whatever reason, the skill was not passed on, and the last beadworker passed away in the 1970s. But they still tried to make them, and here's what they look like now, which still pretty cool beads, but like this compared to this doesn't hold a candle. This is so bright. Everything is very distinct. I'm sure it's just very, very shiny, right? These look dull, and the art isn't as, perfected. I don't know, like it's still cool and all. And then if you go to search up beads to purchase, look at this strand here at beadstore.com is almost $1,500. And you can tell it's the newer beads, right? So imagine what the older beads are worth. Here's one, a little bracelet is selling for $89. But when you zoom in, you can just tell that the quality is just not what it once was. It's still really cool that every single one of these beads are handmade, but the art has been lost. It's not as beautiful and vivid as it once was. Which is really sad that method is lost forever. We'll never get it back. But I wonder, I was trying to dig up how much an authentic Kifa bead would be. Like a bead, remember, this big. Couldn't find it. I think that they're like an ultra rare craft to find. Because even the modern ones are crazy expensive. I wonder how much, surely thousands of dollars for one bead, right? I hope that they're in museums and stuff. You can see the mountains here. I had the name written down, but I turned out the lights and I can't read my notes. It started with a name. But the mountains here just kind of frame the entire region. And it's definitely the current border between the Sahara Sands and the Sahel region here of West Africa. We are right at the cusp. Very, very rocky, as you can see. But very beautiful. All these little towns here, unfortunately, don't have any pictures associated with them. But we can imagine that they're nice little villages, right? I wonder if this lake has any pictures. It says it does. Oh boy. Oh, we got pictures. We got pictures. We got some plants. Got some water birds before. There's some cows grazing. They're going to take a minute to pop up because I haven't looked at this slideshow before. They haven't loaded. That's a very shrubby looking thorny guys. Oop, those goats are button heads. Nice lake there. Oh, we got some fruit growing. What do you think these are? Kind of look like little apricots, maybe pears or something. I'm not sure what those are. Lots of water birds. And more thorny bushes. Okay. You know what's weird? In my atlas, it says, let me pull up the borders again. Assaba, Mauritania. There we go. Oops. Okay, anyway. Up here. It says there's a lake here on my atlas. And I have not found any evidence of any lake anywhere on anything. I've tried looking at this area. So you can clearly see this big wadi here, which is a temporary river. There's only water there when there's water around. So looking at this landscape, I wonder if it's like a salt marsh kind of thing. Like maybe it's also a temporary lake. I can't tell. There is lots of water over here. This town, I think, had a slideshow. Oh yeah, I think this is the one where, yep, this is a slideshow of them building a structure. Kind of looks like that's a mosque over there, but I don't know if they're building another extension. They got the donkeys working. They're lifting. They're building this building, and what's nice is that it looks like even though they have all the modern things, they're still trying to build it traditionally, right? They're not building a modern building. They're building a local mud brick little place. They're working very hard at it. Little roof there. And the family's all out watching. Must be pretty hot out there too. They are in the Sahara Desert. And that guy's feeling good about it though. And it looks like it's time to slack off a little bit. They're lounging. But they're building a building in this town with all these bricks. That's pretty cool. Another town over here had a slideshow also. Giroux. But I don't remember too much. I think there are some cows in here. It's kind of wet. And there's some nice cows. So from what I can tell, this place is just a place for Berber peoples, which again, semi-nomadic herders and farmers that just live their everyday lives. Look at all the sheepies. Oh, very sweet. Just living life here in the desert, barbecuing and enjoying the weather when it's nice. I assume, look, we've got some pomegranates there. We got lots of water. Looks like mint leaves there for the tea. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe some kind of meat jerky. I'm not sure. It looks like it does get some substantial rain every once in a while, though, doesn't it? Probably gets kind of floody, too. But, you know, this is the downside to doing every corner of the world in my series, because I really don't have anything else for you guys to talk about this area. It's really kind of haunting. The only other real things I found was people doing charity work here in Kiva, like at the hospital, but I can only talk about that so much, you know. So, that's all that I have for you for this area, which is why I didn't bother to film a map portion, because that would be a very short portion. The next video, though, we are heading over to India. We are going to the heart of tea country. We are going to see rhinos. We are going to see temples. And you know what else we're going to see? Elephants. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good